Every Thursday morning at this time, we invite Beatrice Mayor Bob Morgan into our studios. Good morning, Mayor. How are you today?
Dave, good morning. I'm doing good. We talk about it every time. Another beautiful morning.
Not bad. Not bad. I can't believe we're gonna hit 90 on Friday. 90 tomorrow on the forecast, and it's October.
I know. But as I was driving out, I'm seeing a few of the trees, the leaves are starting to change. And I know in my neighborhood, the squirrels have been harvesting like crazy. So, I do know that Mother Nature is going to make a turn here sometime.
It will. It will. In fact, they're talking mid-60s next week. So there you go. Fall weather coming up. Yeah. So bring out the jacket or the sweatshirts. It's coming our way.
That's right.
So let's jump into a few topics for the day as we visit with the mayor. And if you have a question, you can call us at 402-228-5923, and we can pass that question along to the mayor here this morning. Let's get a couple of updates. I know you had a quick city council meeting earlier this week. One of the things, the housing developments, I drive by those two spots every now and then. Amazing how much is being done. I mean, it's really moving along.
It is. I think, one of the nice things, one of the local contractors are subcontracting with the company. I think Tiemann's are at least, doing some of the paving that are out there and a lot of the sidewalks in at Corral Crossing, which then they'll come forward in and start working on the roads. That'll be the next thing, and that paving will go in probably sometime, I would guess this month of October, since it's October 2nd. I can say October. But they are moving along pretty quickly, probably a little further behind. I think maybe some of the sewer starting to go in at Heritage Heights, which is the Lincoln School site. They're making some pretty good progress. One thing we have to remember is this was probably one of the wettest summers and falls, even in the spring, that we've had, which, boy, everybody's yard looks green and everything looks really beautiful. You hate to see the winter come as the way everything's looking, but that did slow them down. It is amazing. I've had some questions about people wanting to know when they're going to be information on the lots and the prices and those type of things, which showing that interest is really, really good. I think you'll see some of that information coming out, I want to say toward the end of this year, the first part of next year, because what we really need to do is we need to make sure we have all of our infrastructure costs figured into what a lot would be. So that information is going to come, and I know we'll make some pretty good public announcements about that. So we're glad that people are showing some interest. They will be, I think, two nice planned communities for about 20 lots on each one, which brings 40 home lots to the city. And as we've said and gone through, there really hasn't been a lot of homes for sale. And sometimes trying to find the home that fits what you want is difficult to find. So this will give us some building options. And so we're really excited that those two projects are moving along as well as they are. And I think it'll be really neat to see how they finish with the cul-de-sac neighborhood idea.
Mm-hmm. So I every time I drive by them, and you got so much activity that's going on at each spot, don't you? I mean, we do. A truck here and a truck there, and I mean they're just moving everywhere.
They are. It's been really busy, and again I want to just say thank you to the neighborhoods, because it does impact as you see the drivers driving back and forth, but. They're going to look different by the time spring rolls around.
Absolutely. It will. But we'll look forward to hearing more as the information continues, and looking forward to hear a little bit more about the lots and such, and that'll all be coming yet.
Yeah, and then people can kind of see where the size of the lots are, because those aren't they're platted now, but they're not necessarily laid out so you can kind of visualize them, because we're just not quite there yet.
You are right, though, about the yards around town.
Oh, boy.
Who would have ever thought in October they would look this green, right?
Well, and still mowing.
And still mowing. I got to mow. Thank you. You were just reminding me. I got to get that done yet.
Me too.
Yeah, the rains have definitely kept things green for us, no doubt about it. So, with that meeting and such that you had earlier this week, I know everything kind of finalized. You got the budget now in place, and we're good to go for the new year, aren't we?
We are for the next 2 years. It's a biennial budget. Okay. So we got 26 and 27. 27 is forecasted. I mean, there's always going to be some things that you change depending on, for instance, some of the capital equipment items that we purchase, we may not get them in 26 if there's a backlog, so we have to move that to 27. So there'll be a few little glitches there in the budget. Overall, I think the city's budget increased about $174,000. Which, in your and my budget, that's a lot. In the city's budget, it's not a lot. And that is in the general fund. And the general fund, I think I've said it before, is going to be like the parks, the administration, the police, the fire. One of the things that is in that general budget is $200,000 for starting to figure out how we take down dumpsters. So, when you think about that, I think our plan is to continually fund about $200,000 a year for several years to get that down. We'd like to do it quicker, but again, it would impact some things, and we're trying to do it as minimally impacting on taxes as possible. And so when you think about going up 174 and 200,000 is going to go to working on dumpsters and tearing it down, I think it's really a pretty responsible general fund budget.
Okay. I think I asked you this the last time as you were getting ready to work on that budget and with the public hearing. Have you heard much from folks or not?
Not much, really. There's always the question why.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to kind of share why. I think also when you look at how much it raises your tax on your home, it's somewhere between that $5 to $10, depending on the price of your home. If your home's a little more than that, it's going to be a little bit more. But it's not a huge increase, and that's kind of what we want to try to continue always to do. One of the things that we did also pass, though, and I'll just throw it out there, is as we look at our budgets for 26 and 27, whether it's the BPW accounts or whether it's our general fund, we did pass a cash reserve policy. Because one of the things that we always want to be is somewhere between 3 and 6 months worth of cash in the bank in case there's any type of catastrophic loss. I think that's a responsible place to be. It's kind of like having an emergency fund for your home, which is one of the things that they really advise is if you can have an emergency fund, that's always great because, if you have $1,000 in your emergency fund and your hot water heater goes out, you can pay for that. And so I think the city needs to be in that responsible position as well to have some money in a cash reserve or emergency fund for when things don't quite go the way we are.
And so amount-wise in that cash reserve, what makes you feel comfortable?
Well, I use kind of in terms of months, and we've kind of settled anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of what we anticipate for payments. And so we'll always have that in 3 to 6 months. And it fluctuates according to the time of year and how things work. So to give you an exact amount, I really can't.
Okay.
It's just one of those hard things to do.
Okay. One of the things with this, with the budget and everything, I know we did talk about the rate increases there for electrical. We did have a question.
Okay.
Had a question here. Are the funds for the electrical rate increase starting in 2025 going to be put into a reserve fund for the possible cost increases of electrical power in 2030?
They are being put into a fund. It could be an infrastructure fund or it could be set aside. And we are trying to lessen that big blow. And it's actually 2031. December 31st of 2030, our contracts end. And we know in 2031, when they start increasing the amount of reserve that we have to have, they are going to increase dramatically. And so, yes, we're planning for that. One of the things that we do have on the drawing board is a feasibility study to determine if we are going to move forward with a power plant that will help us with that reserve portion, which would ultimately have a cost savings in our electricity, which would be really, really good as well. And so, yeah, it's part of the planning process.
Okay. We've talked about that on a past program about power plant and everything. Right. That's going to be a huge project.
It would be a huge project, but I know that we've had several other cities with some interest of, either partnering or buying the reserve electricity from us as well.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of putting the pieces together, and we're doing the feasibility study, because I want to stress that it's a feasibility study. The decision to do it or not has not been made, because we still want to study and make sure it's the right place. Right now, it looks like in 2031, it could save us, instead of being triple the amount of raises in electricity, it could maybe just be half of that, which would be a huge savings for all of us. And so we want to make sure we're in the right place.
Okay.
And you might ask, well, why are you doing this now? Well, there's a lot of people around the country that are starting to look at power plants, which means the supplies and getting the generators and those type of things. If you don't get them on order, it could be 5 years. And so we have a window that we have to hit.
Okay. All right. We have several questions we're going to pass along from listeners. That's coming up as we continue our Ask the Mayor. It's 8:45 at KWBE. We're back on Ask the Mayor. Beatrice Mayor Bob Morgan with us here this morning. We've got several questions we're going to be passing along on the program this morning. I guess one question is, with the government shutdown, how does that affect the city? When the city's doing their operations and such, does that have much of an effect on you guys?
It really does not. It slows down the grant process.
Okay.
I mean, we're still waiting for the RAISE grant to get approved, and so we know that that's going to be hung up in the government shutdown. But overall, no, because we are a local entity, and we will continue to operate just like we normally do, and it just drives home the fact that I believe that the cash reserve policy is a great example of us being responsible and making sure that we still provide services to everybody during all times of the year.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Let's get into a couple questions here from listeners. We were just talking about the housing projects and such. I got a question here. What do they intend to do with the water that will come off the new addition on Lincoln Street, since that's kind of built higher than the houses? I guess they're talking about the dirt or the level, or since the building is higher than the houses.
Well, first of all, they're now going to put in stormwater to take care of the water. One of the things that we are using for both of those locations are detention ponds as well. The one on Lincoln Street in particular at Heritage Heights, that detention pond will also be a recreational area. But that detention pond is designed to catch the water. And the water is, as they grade those lots and do the paving, it really is designed to use the stormwater that goes down the outlets and that detention pond to make sure that we don't impact water on any other place. And so it's one of the things that we've studied. I haven't, but JEO who designed it has studied. And a lot of that is going to be leveled off as we continue to put in the streets and those type of things. Lincoln Street or Heritage Heights is a little bit further behind than Corral Crossing, so you're going to see some leveling off, but we've certainly taken into account the runoff as we've done the project.
Okay, all right. Hopefully that clears up the question for that listener.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can tell you see everything in there.
Right.
You won't quite maybe understand it.
All righty. Question on 5th Street. You all done with the update on 5th Street and everything?
Yes.
Looks good. Looks really nice. But listener says the clock's not working. It's off time. Who's responsible for the clock?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I sure will pass that on.
Someone says, it's the wrong time.
Okay,
so
I'll pass that on.
Okay. But does 5th Street and 4th, that all looks really good.
It does. It looks really good. And if you think about that and you can visualize what maybe Court Street will look once the reroute's done, you can see where it's really turning into a very nice pedestrian walkway.
Yep. Looks good. Looks good. Did have a question on alley maintenance, alleyways. Okay. The listener had said there's like an alley or two that they feel like that they have to use or parking or whatever for their business that's a little rough. What's the process in doing repairs on alleys?
Sure. Alleys are a little lower level. I mean, we really got to put most of our time and energy into the streets. However, if you've got an area that you think needs attention, please call either the streets department or the community development department so we can have some people come out and take a look at it.
Okay. All righty. There you go. Question for the mayor. I heard there was a change this year on how IT services between departments are handled. What's the change?
Okay. It's a great question. Great observation, by the way. What we have done, since we now have an IT director and we have our own IT department, what we've done is we pulled out the money that goes in the other departments and put that into the IT fund. And so basically it's centralizing the information technology equipment and repairs, purchases, and those type of things. So I'll give you a perfect example. It helps us centralize the purchases and organize that. A great example that some people will get is you go buy an inkjet printer. But once you buy the inkjet printer, you're forever buying ink. And so if you have a centralized purchasing of IT, you can start coordinating what type of printers to put in, and they're the same type of printers. And maybe if you centralize where a printer is, you can use, a laser printer that is a lot less. At the end of the day, it's a lot less expensive. And so this allows our IT director to help standardize and how to move across all of our departments into a concerted effort. So it cuts down on time, it cuts down on programming, it cuts down on repairs, and it standardizes and helps us purchase all of the equipment that we put in, from switches to printers to computers, in a more planned way.
Okay. Well, we hope that answered the question for the listener.
If not, call in and we'll see if we can clarify a little bit more.
Okay, sounds like a good deal. All right, 8:50 on the morning. Let's take another break, and we'll come back and we'll kind of wrap things up here. It's 8:53 at KWBE as we get ready to wrap things up here with Mayor Bob Morgan this morning on our Ask the Mayor program. Let's see, you have a Beatrice City Council meeting coming up here next week on Monday night. Understand you've got a grant writer that's going to be visiting with you.
Merchant McIntyre is we contracted with them to help us with federal grants. Mm-hmm. And they're our grant writers. They're also kind of what I would say kind of our lobbyists back in Washington, D.C. to help us with the grant writing. And they've done a really good job between the RAISE grant and a number of other grants, getting grants for us. We've done a lot of the communication by phone and by video conferencing. However, they are going to stop in to see us on Monday, October 6th. And so we'll have a couple of meetings that we'll have with them. I'm sure they're going to take a look at a couple of the projects that we would like to try to get money for, i.e. Dempsters. But I think one of the other things that's going to be kind of a nice option, and again, city council meetings are at 6 p.m. on Monday nights, and they're open to the public as always. They're going to start. We'll have them come up first, and they're going to introduce themselves and talk about the grants that they've gotten probably and the grants that they see that might be a possibility. And so it's just a time for the council to actually meet them face to face. And so we really appreciate them stopping in, and we've had a great relationship, and I see that we'll probably continue that on for another year.
Since you've been working with them, have they been at a council meeting before?
They have not been in person.
Okay,
no.
so first time then, face to face then here for him. Okay.
Yes. So we're thankful they're coming, and like I said, we've had a good relationship with them, be it long distance. Now we'll get to know them a little better.
Okay, all righty. That'll be again Monday evening, again 6 o'clock start time for the meeting.
Yep.
A couple other things before we run out of time. Water park comments. Are we getting some comments in?
I'm sure we are. Those go first to, and Amanda takes care of our website, and across the top of the banner, there's a link to put in comments. Those will go to probably the director of parks, Mark Pethod, first, and then to the committee that's set up of, I think it's 3 council members, as we look at what to do in the feasibility study of that park. So if you haven't put your comments in, please do so. The more comments we get, the more things we can take into consideration. When you think about a water park, this one, which we talk about new water park, and it's not, but that's, it's kind of how you talk about things.
Right.
it's 25 years old roughly, and they've changed so much. Is it something you want to put laps? Do you want the lazy river? How do you want your slides? Many, many things that I don't have the expertise on, so that's why the feasibility study.
All right. They can go to the city's website on
Yes.
that one, right?
Yep.
Get your comments in. Will there be, meeting down there? You think another open house?
I think there is another public open house. I'm not sure the exact date, but I think there will be another one coming up.
Okay. See, they're working on an Astro Park, getting some playground equipment in there. That's moving along, isn't it?
It is. The rain last week didn't help us, but that's going to finish pretty much Astro Park off, and it's a really nice asset to the community.
And landfill update. We haven't had what's the latest status? How things are at the landfill?
They're zeroing in. They want to be done by November. Most of the first cell and the liners and those type of things are pretty much in. They're still working on the building out there. One of the things that I hear from some people that use the landfill quite often in the construction industry, we are moving from just one scale where you drive in and you got to go back across that scale to 2 scales, which will get traffic in and out a little better. So they're still working on that, and hopefully by the end of November we'll be pretty much done.
Again, things seem like whether it's the playground equipment or the landfill, I mean, things or the housing developments, things are moving along despite the rain, since the weather has caused some issues for us. But everything seems to be running okay then.
They're doing very, very well. We've had a lot on our plates. We'll continue to have a lot on our plates to try to get things done. So it's been an interesting 3 years.
Yeah. You had a busy year here with a lot of things going on this past summer.
We have
kept you going, and so
and you throw the airport into there, and
that's right. I forgot about the airport.
Yeah, we got the airport going, and we have a lot of our guys meeting on a weekly basis on all those different projects with all those balls in the air, and then hopefully by the time the snow flies, we're pretty much done with them.
Okay, all right. Anything else on the Monday night meeting that you might just know or yet?
No, I don't know for sure. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Several council members and myself and the city administrator Bias, we meet on Thursday mornings after this one. So I haven't had a peek of what we have on the agenda other than the normal routine things.
Okay. All righty. With that, we are wrapping up our program. And, of course, Mayor, if anybody has any further questions, you're always welcome to, you or the councilman, that's what you're there for, to answer questions,
correct.
Aren't you?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, enjoy this warm weather that we have here the next few days.
Absolutely. I'm going to.
I still can't believe it's October. And we're hitting 90 degrees, but it is what it is. So,
absolutely.
We take what we get. Mayor, thanks for coming in this morning. Do appreciate it.
Dave, thank you.
All right. Beatrice Mayor Bob Morgan with us this morning here on KWBE's Ask the Mayor. We are approaching 9 o'clock. News is next.